Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview. This I'm covering VCT Americas Week 3, Stage 2. My guest at this time is Kess of 100 Thieves, this time coming off their match against MIBR, in which they came out on the losing end 2-0 to the sit with a 2-1 record at the time of the recording. And so, Kess, thank you so much for the opportunity and really appreciate the time you gave me for this quick conversation. And of course, I got to give the quick commiserations on the series loss as well. Hopefully, you can bounce back in the next one. First and foremost, I want to ask you, how are you feeling? How was it like to see the end of the series in that fashion, especially after Bind?
Um, Obviously, doesn't feel very great. They played great. We had some few mistakes, and I made some few mistakes that kind of cost us big. And obviously, it's really, really, really devastating. I always want to play really, really well, but probably definitely my worst performance yet. So obviously, a lot to think about, a lot to reflect on. Also, the feeling that you want to just punch a wall. There's a lot of feelings going on. But yeah, definitely kind of sucks to be comebacked on, but sometimes it is what it is. And we just got to find a way to bounce back.
Yeah, yeah, I think one can't say anything more concise and more sufficient about what you just described, mentality-wise, and I can definitely imagine what it would be like to suffer a result like that. But it's obviously another ball game altogether to actually experience that. And so I gotta dive into the second map in Bind. Zix mentioned or put up a tweet sometime after the series about just the loss of fundamentals, especially when it came time to playing on defense side. How did you kind of view the form in that second half? Do you think it was just for loss of fundamentals or anything like that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely fundamentals. A lot of times, at least for me, what I know personally is a lot of times I'll stay alive a little bit longer and play more info based and be able to coordinate with my teams a little bit better. But today it felt a little off with whenever I had to coordinate something or I had to play for something, and I think that really kind of hurt us in the long run, and was the reason why we lost. And I'll take full responsibility for that because I feel like the other guys played great, and it's just felt like at one point I was just getting abused on one side, and it was just damn, they keep hitting my site. Like I get one max, and then they have the bomb site. I get traded out. So I would definitely, I would definitely agree with Zix's tweet.
Given what you said about, your responsibility, taking accountability from your performance, what do you feel you lacked the most in this series?
Uh, the only thing I can really think of is composure. Um, Especially when we're feeling with the momentum shift this happened, especially after first half. And there are a lot of things that were I would say are half out of my control, in my control, as in pissed around second half. I don't hear the wall going up, and or wall or orb going up, and I feel like my teammates have my short, but all of a sudden they're in U-Haul, and I'm on my iPad. So there are things like that that kind of I guess got to me. I didn't think it did in the moment, but yeah, definitely things like that, little wrenches in our game plan. Definitely need to kind of recompose myself and be able to kind of refocus myself back into the game.
Looking over onto the other side of the coin, MIBR was able to make that comeback happen when the side switched and now they were on attacking side. And, obviously, Cortesia's individual performance played a huge factor behind, that comeback and making it difficult for you guys to play your usual game. Um, how did you view MIBR's performance? Describe to me what you feel was the biggest obstacle that they threw upon you for the series.
Definitely pace changes. We saw them before. It was more like they would have one kind of pace, but it felt like today they would, faint one side and then pop out the other, and a lot of times, and it wouldn't really catch us off guard because we always had the right read, but we wouldn't really have a right setup for their pop, so it made it really, really difficult. So it looks like they kind of ran with the ball with that kind of like pace change.
Mhm. And going a little bit back onto the series now, focusing on Icebox. Obviously, MIBR's strongest map is Icebox, and it's kind of no surprise that they opted for that pick during the pick ban phase. And so, even so, you guys were relatively close in making a comeback of your own, kind of similar fashion in map two, in map one. Um, you know, what do you feel just the team wasn't able to, what do you think enabled the team that kind of prohibited, another way to saying this is, what prohibited you guys from uh, winning in Icebox and making it even much more closer than what was showed?
Um, I would say today wasn't the best like planning day from us, and obviously individually, like I wasn't really shooting. So it all kind of was like a combination of each other. I mean, obviously the boys are really, really nice, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's okay. There's some unfortunate things or unlucky things. It's like a team game, whatever." But I honestly do think if I got, at least at least on buying side, I know we're talking about Icebox, but on Icebox, like there were some things that I think they played really, really well, and then we didn't play well against, especially against like alts. I would say that alts kind of was the MVP for MIBR on Icebox, and it kind of made it extremely, extremely difficult for us to do much of anything really. And it's like it was very, very difficult to kind of get things going, if that makes sense. Like, um, especially if we don't plan ahead for certain things, like the Killjoy ult and Harbor Wall. It's very, 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 very difficult to kind of get past. um, Things like that. I think they played it really, really well, and we didn't play it so well. So, uh, and also factoring in my poor individual performance, I would say those are the reasons.
Well, even so, despite suffering a result like this isn't the end of the season, end of the road yet. You guys have more opportunities to kind of like bounce back and then override, this result and say, okay, it's just a minor a roadblock along the journey. And so, still though, what I want to ask you now is kind of your time competing with 100 Thieves so far in this season. Obviously, it's been a whirlwind kind of split for you, and going from tier two, tier three, competing in various tournaments for yourself, and now going over to 100 Thieves. Now you've had a few reps under your belt, playing in 3 weeks so far in this team. How's the experience? How has the experience been like for you? Do you feel like you fully acclimated to the entire system that 100 Thieves already has? And what do you feel has been the biggest obstacles for you so far, if any?
Um, well, at least until today, I didn't really feel any like big obstacles at all. Obviously, there's like a whole new environmental shift that I have to get used to because new team, new level, new everything. They've been amazing with everything. Fundamental wise, I feel like I have been, catching up because there are some things that I do need to catch up on, and I'm still catching up. And felt like I was on a good pace and a very fast pace on learning. But things like this happen. Today, today's results kind of don't really show for it, but I would like to say that I've been following along
You know,
pretty well.
there's this quote that comes to mind whenever you know, people face results like this. There's never any losing. Whenever there's never losing, there's only learning. And knowing how this team has been able to rejuvenate themselves, which you're including, of course, since the end of stage one to you know right now in stage two. I'm sure that 100T's will be able to continue to learn and bounce back from this. And so, one more question and a few more questions that I want to ask you before I have to wrap this up. Now, the schedule now features Loud and Leviathan, continuing the rest of the group stage for this 100 Thieves squad. What are your thoughts on, the opponents ahead and the challenges they may bring to yourself and the team?
like the challenges that they bring as opponents.
Mhm.
Um, I really think today was like really like an off day from especially me, and there were slight like team stuff that were going on that kind of made it not like really an A day for us. But if I'm being honest, as long as this doesn't happen today, we should be in the clear and we should be fine. Like against those guys, and arguably may have a like easier time against them, if anything.
You know, you have an air of maturity, you know, just having to, you know, go through all this kind of stuff, feel like, from my view to yours, of course, you know, that like everything's not really like pressured for you. Do you feel like you're kind of like taking it easy for yourself, or has it been kind of the contrast of that? Do you feel like it's kind of surprised you on how you've been able to transition kind of seamlessly into your current position?
Definitely something that caught me off by surprise. Like I said, there's like a total new environmental shift and a new mindset shift, and it was like it was pretty hard to get used to. And a lot of it is kind of being able to recognize your shortcomings, your strengths, and kind of playing around other people's ideologies with whatever you know about the game. And like I said, I think I'm still on the right path despite today's results. Um, Off days can always happen. Other than that, yeah, I still think I'm adjusting well.
Course, and adjustment will continue to happen for yourself and the rest of 100 Thieves, especially after today and into the future. So, Kess, thank you so much for the opportunity, for the interview, for your answers, and the insight as to what happened today. And so, really do appreciate that. And of course, best of luck goes to yourself and the rest of the squad for the future and the road ahead.
Thank you.